Imagine you're a criminal mastermind. You've got a vision, a plan so audacious that even Hollywood thought it was too wild to be true until you actually pulled it off. On August 6, 2005, in the northeastern Brazilian city of Fortaleza, a 25-member criminal gang executed what would become the largest bank heist in Brazilian history and one of the most ingenious robberies the world has ever seen. They didn't use violence. They didn't use hacking. They didn't storm the building with guns blazing. Instead, they used something far more powerful: patience, precision, and a 256-foot tunnel dug directly beneath the most secure financial institution in the region. What happened next would shock an entire nation and eventually make headlines across the globe. It all started with a brilliant cover story. The gang needed to dig beneath the city streets without raising any red flags. So they rented a property just blocks away from the Banco Central's main vault. To any neighbor or passerby, it looked completely normal. They established a legitimate-looking landscaping company right there on the property. Workers would come and go, equipment would sit outside, dirt would be dug up and removed. To everyone on the street, it was just another small business in Fortaleza. But beneath the floorboards, something extraordinary was happening. An engineering marvel was being constructed in secret. For 3 grueling months, these criminals became miners, construction workers, and masters of deception, all rolled into one. The tunnel they dug wasn't some hastily carved burrow. This was a feat of criminal engineering. It stretched an enormous 256 feet, that's nearly the length of 2 football fields, running directly beneath the city streets and straight under the bank's physical structure. The precision required was extraordinary. They couldn't veer off course. They couldn't waste time. Every calculation had to be perfect, because if they hit something hard or miscalculated the angle, the entire operation would collapse. Workers took turns, digging through Brazilian soil and rock, hauling dirt out bit by bit. The operation required incredible coordination, planning, and most importantly, absolute secrecy. Every gang member knew that if just one person talked, if even a single word leaked to authorities or rivals, the whole scheme would unravel. 3 months of relentless work, 3 months of sweat, dirt, and endless digging in the dark. 3 months of the gang, living with the constant fear of discovery, but they never wavered. They kept digging. They kept the front business running smoothly. Workers genuinely did landscaping work on the property. The cover was perfect. Authorities had no idea what was happening just meters beneath their city streets. The tunnel grew longer, it inched closer to its target, and finally, after weeks of meticulous underground engineering, they were ready. The gang had positioned themselves perfectly. The tunnel now ran directly beneath the vault of the Banco Central. Then came the moment they'd been waiting for. Weekend of August 6th and 7, 2005, it was showtime. This was when security was lighter, when fewer employees were in the building, when the operation had the best chance of succeeding undetected. The gang broke through the tunnel's ceiling. They punched through the vault's floor. But this wasn't a simple barrier. They had to cut through 2 solid meters of concrete. They had to defeat every security measure built into that floor. But they were prepared. They had the right tools, the right knowledge, and the unshakable determination to finish what they'd started. The concrete gave way. A hole opened up directly into the main vault. And what they found inside made every second of those 3 months of digging worthwhile. Cash. Mountains of it. Bundles upon bundles of Brazilian reals stacked neatly throughout the vault. Inside, the Banco Central sat hundreds of millions of reais. But the gang wasn't greedy. They were smart. They knew exactly how much they could take without raising immediate alarms or being caught during escape. They loaded their containers. The total, 160 million Brazilian reals, worth approximately $70 million at the time. That's 3.5 tons of pure currency. The largest single bank robbery in Brazilian history, without triggering a single alarm, without a single shot fired, without any direct violence or confrontation. They vanished into the night with their fortune. For a moment, it seemed like the perfect heist, the kind of crime that would never be solved. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Crime, it turns out, doesn't pay the way these criminals thought it would. What they didn't anticipate was that having stolen such an enormous amount of money would make them targets themselves. In the aftermath of the heist, several gang members became victims of kidnappings by other criminals who saw an opportunity to exploit their newfound wealth. One man in particular, Luis Fernando Ribeiro, believed to be the mastermind behind the entire operation, was kidnapped. Ransom was paid. Demands were made. But Ribeiro's story ended tragically. He was killed by his kidnappers, his body becoming a casualty of greed in a world where stolen wealth attracts the most dangerous predators. Investigators moved in. Police intensified their investigation. Although 25 people were believed to be involved in the heist, only 8 were ever arrested and successfully prosecuted. The gang had dispersed. Some had fled the country. Some had hidden their money in ways that made it nearly impossible to trace. Even after nearly 2 decades, the Banco Central heist remains one of the most fascinating unsolved mysteries in criminal history. Most of the $70 million stolen from the bank has never been recovered. The heist mastermind is dead, possibly taking secrets of the operation's structure to his grave. Many of the other gang members remain at large. Their faces aren't known to the public. Their locations are mysteries. They pulled off what many consider to be the most perfectly executed bank robbery in history, demonstrated an incredible level of planning and execution, and then simply disappeared into the shadows. The Banco Central burglary stands as a testament to what human ingenuity and determination can achieve, for better or worse. It shows us the incredible engineering knowledge criminals can possess, the layers of coordination required to pull off such an enormous heist, and the dangerous consequences that follow when someone steals enough money to make themselves a target. But most of all, it reminds us that even the perfect crime comes with a price. Whether that price is paid to law enforcement, to rival criminals, or to the psychological weight of living on the run with such a massive secret, there's always a cost. Today, the story of the Banco Central heist remains alive in documentaries, true crime podcasts, and criminal history archives. A Netflix series called The Great Robbery of Brazil's Central Bank brought the story to international audiences, dramatizing the events for millions of viewers around the world. So here's the question we want to leave you with today. If you could pull off the perfect crime, something so flawlessly executed that you'd almost certainly never get caught, would the money be worth it? Would you want to live constantly looking over your shoulder, knowing that your wealth makes you a target for every criminal, every rival, and every person who discovers your secret? The Banco Central gang got their $70 million. But how many of them actually live to enjoy it? How many of them remain free today? How many are still hiding? These are the questions that haunt the most perfectly executed crimes. Thanks for watching another story from the Crime Vault. Don't forget to follow us for more tales of the world's most audacious heists, unsolved mysteries, and crimes that captivated the world. We'll see you in the next story.